Okay, I guess I'm now. I think I'm live. Yeah. Just go post on Twitter. Alright. Okay, I am now. We're now live. We've been live for a while, but I just told everyone on Twitter that I'm now live. So what is happening? So I've started to, first of all, one thing that's incredibly cool that I saw today and everyone should check out is my friend Lexi made this. It really is incredible. Lexi, hey, Ryoku the Slayer. It's been a long time. Lexi made, he was one of the guys that made Dust Force, and as we're currently working on Spire, and he wrote his own custom lighting system inside Unity. I mean, it looks better and has better performance. Like, look at that. Look at how nice his shadow is. He really is. Man, like, that's really ugly. Yeah, I'm not too sure what this this Peter panning. I think it's when things are like it's missing, but you can see that's like that shadow's missing, and here the way he's done it is just absolutely beautiful. Makes such a massive difference. So anyway, you guys should check that out. I will post a link to it in the chat. Hey! Hello, Bonkin and Praetorian 1978. Your name is in green, so it's really hard to read. Okay, I had to watch the Peter Panning part a few times, but and he's working on directional lighting. So the directional lighting is the only thing I use in the game, but I think if he'll probably have that out soon, and I think I'm going to switch over to his system. Not just because it looks better, but because the performance is they seem to be pretty massive gains in performance. Like he shows it near the end. He has like an actual performance comparison, right? So this is Unity lighting is at 50, and his is at like 80. Which is pretty great. So anyway, Lexi is kind of a wizard. But anyway, how's everyone doing? I was bit sick. The cough. It's a lot better now. But yeah, and then at the beginning of the year, there's just like a ton of paperwork to take care of with everything. For those of you that are in the U.S. and are independent contractors, you have the nightmare of dealing with health insurance. That's taken up most of my time. You know, I called them, and then they do the thing where you can like set up to be on hold, and then they'll call you back. And I waited for 3 hours, and then of course the minute I step outside, they call. So I've been playing with harsher shadows. Actually, Lexi said maybe I can get away with. You can mess with the shadow strength. I don't sound much better. I am feeling a lot better. I'm not coughing as much. I think the last time I streamed, I was just like coughing the whole time. So that's not that's not happening anymore. So may not sound a whole lot better, but I am feeling a lot better. Okay, let's look at our shadow strength. I do have issues with garbage collection. There is in the profile. I mean, that's not. I wouldn't blame the issue on garbage collection if that's what you mean. Hey, X Solid Surge 18X. Yeah. It's I've been kind of just whenever I have time. But just because I've been kind of sick. But I think I'm not fully recovered, but on the road to recovery. Hey, None Superior. Okay, let's see where the light is. So I've been thinking about. I need to really write down I need to finish the blog post about invert mode. Oh yeah, I am just guzzling herbal tea. I think I have chicken soup. I gotta check the fridge. So he's saying, no. See, I want the strength. I want the strength, right? Because I want that impact. The thing is, it's a lot of it has to do. What's kind of tricky though. I'll bring my lighting thing in. Lighting panel in. Here's the tricky part, which is that if I want the areas that are in shadow to be very dark. Hey, Angie plays games. Tiny Angry Crab. D-Lask. Hello, D-Lask. Yeah. Alright, I still have a bit of a cough. So this is the key part, right? It's like lowering the ambient intensity or changing the ambient color. I think they seem to do more or less the same thing. And also with ambient color, I'm not. I don't actually add any color. So The problem with this is that, and I'll show you now, which is because the fog fades to, hey, Solar Get 95, hello. So the problem is that the fog fades to white, and I need the fog to fade to white for the lines to kind of disappear nicely. But then the problem is, like, as you get closer, things get darker, which feels a bit weird to me. But if we change the fog color, then you can see it, like, it's not doing quite as nice of a color fade, right? Like it. Or maybe this just has to, nah, see, it has to, I can get away with it a little bit, but I think it has to fade to white. So I don't know if I'm a huge fan of yeah, in real life, but I don't, doesn't it feel kind of weird to, like, it's just weird part because it's like you jump into darkness, but perhaps you are right, and that's not issue. I do think maybe now this is I do think this might be a little bit too dark, so I'm gonna just lower the intensity. Oh, that's right, huh? Interesting. Yeah. Yes, I did see your video of your portals. I didn't see the walking on wall. Bonkin, perhaps. The thing is, I really do think this is a very nice visual. This stuff. Like, maybe not having it be so dark. Maybe something like this. And having the strength. Yeah. I love that. I love that too about Journey. Journey is the one I think about a lot. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't impose the same sense of it doesn't impose one set of lighting conditions. And it is set in a world where, you know, that stuff makes sense. And the problem too is that when I we only have one directional light at the moment, so that does mean there are parts that end up being in the shadows. But, like, I do think this is a very striking visual. I think it probably would be one style of lighting for most areas. I think, like, if in places where there's only one, yeah. The thing is I don't want the lighting to look too confusing, you know, because, like, right now the thing is, the lighting does help with orientation. So it is like you see these shadows, and then when you rotate, like, oh, okay, now that light is pointing in a different direction. I think that helps with orientation. Okay, I'm not sure why I'm moving backwards automatically. Looks like there's a button. There's a button pressed down somewhere. Not sure what's happening, but I'm moving back automatically. Hey, Meta DDB. Okay, not sure. Not sure why I'm moving backwards. Anyway, thank you all for joining. And if you like the stream, you should follow. So I think, yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to do. I'm going to play with slightly. We're going to go with this for now, just to see, just to kind of have me get used to it. And for the fog, we're still going to make it go to white. Yeah, like my one concern would be the shadow making it harder for people to see kind of the puzzle elements. But I do think I'm at a stage in development now where I'm quite comfortable with that. And you know what? The thing is, I was thinking in negative mode, see, what would be interesting is having it be the opposite, right? Or would it be... Oh, interesting. You can't have, What the fuck? Why is... What the hell? Alright, I'm gonna have to look into this issue, but for some reason my okay, no, never mind, that's fixed. That might have been it. Now it's fixed. I unplugged my 360 controller. So actually, this looks kind of weird. This looks a little too bright. Yeah, like, so this would be, we'd want to bring it down to, I think something like this is, it does make this feel a little dark. Like, I think this is not bad for interior. So, hey, Wizennischat. Hey, Wizennisch. Yeah, thank you. I really need to update the devlog page. And yeah, welcome. That's awesome. And yeah, Solar Get 95. It's just you just gotta download Unity and start playing around. Because I do think, like, having it is sort of one of those things where, like, you can have light without darkness. Because I think having this hallway be kind of dark is still not, like, this is still very easy on the eyes, but having this dark hallway, this is what makes kind of this outside shot feels like an outside shot, right? Like this is what sort of makes, when you come here, this is why this is a very cool looking moment. Yeah, it's just a matter of sticking with it. Programming is not hard, there's just lots of little things you need to know. And all the objects do glow a little bit. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably because my, when we were trying for the invert mode, it's like it's switched a whole bunch of stuff. But, anyway, I can't solve that because red is actually falling the other way. I do think maybe this is a little... Oh yeah, you know what it is? This is too bright. Yeah, so like this... Because I feel like this here, the lighting makes a difference, right? Like... This is an actual level. Yeah, I guess right now we're using it as a playground, like this part where we open that up. So, anyway, I think I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna just take a screenshot, and I can change the values to this later. But I do think it's worth experimenting with this. Oh, right, we turn off the light. Yeah, I mean, it makes a pretty big difference, I think. Alright, I'll see you later, Ryoku the Slayer. I also think this is very cool. Many attempts, yes. So yeah, I think the shadows are definitely a pretty major component. So I think yeah, the shadows. Though I think the shadow strength. This will obviously have a big impact. So you see that was at 900. Okay, so I think even it actually ends up being the same. So I was wondering if there was a way to make that shadow darker, but yeah, that looks fine. That looks like a good. That I think looks like an okay. Yeah, I don't know if my game will work though with the super glitchy stuff. Ezra pretty much has that down. I might just kind of leave that to him. Maybe. I have my own glitch things, but I do love the way these shadows on the little bars are. It actually makes me think that they could be, like, there could be variation in height. Yeah, in fact, that's probably what should happen, right? There should be variation in height to lead you to that path. And that will also make for, I think, much more interesting shadows. Yes. So anyway, let me take a screenshot, and then let's. Yes. Yeah, I think once we sort of figure out a bunch of the mechanics and the tech, I think then the ornamental stuff will be able to come in. Yeah. One other thing I really want to experiment with is in Lexi's video, he talks about it allows for colored I thought this was a really incredible visual. So I guess right now it only allows for Unity doesn't support colored light cookies. And I kind of think if I can do this, it wouldn't obviously be as crazy as that, but that might be a very interesting direction. How do I avoid weird shadows? I actually don't. That actually is a problem with will wrapping and shadows. Right now, the issue of shadows and will wrapping is avoided just because of the distance is so far that the shadow isn't actually being drawn. Like you can see, you don't see shadows until you like are fairly close, and I'm kind of just lucking out enough that the it's not like you just don't see shadows, but that like technically because of the will wrapping, the entire world should be in shadows, right? Because there's no. That's actually is a problem with some of the later levels that are super dense. Is the entire world should be in shadows because what you got is the same geometry that's repeated over and over again. So if you have any light that's traveling in that world, that light is at some point bound to hit something. I mean, unless it's like straight and you shoot it into, but then it would like technically it would hit its own source, the back of its own source. So yeah, it is. Lighting is definitely much more something that's like faked. Oh, am I recapitulating? Is that one of the early arguments that the universe is not infinite? It would only be if that would only count if it was infinite and wrapping, right? Because at some point there is, yeah, I guess at some point every possible ray hits a star. But we are seeing, but there are also light sources all spread out. Okay, yeah, that is kind of cool. I should look into that. But yeah, at the moment it is definitely faked. So I'm continuing to think about invert mode and what that should be. And one of the things I'm gonna I don't think I'm gonna stream for too long because I actually notice I am still kind of sick. So I have this building desire to cough some more. But also my devlog really needs to be updated, and I want to do like a giant post on invert mode, where that came from, what my thoughts on it right now are, and what my discussion with Chris Bell kind of led to. I don't think the split gameplay... The thing is, I thought it'd be kind of cool if it was like you had meta DVB. I think you mean by MF. I'm assuming that you mean Manifold Garden MG. Hey, Ezio Auditores. We are talking about the inverse mode and kind of what that is. Is it defract game? Desync. That's it. He didn't. Yeah, he gave me good feedback, but it's like Chris is also very Chris has the things that he likes, right? And they're different from the things that I like. So to talk about the action puzzle split, I was thinking, well, what if like in invert mode, it basically went into this Quake-like first-person shooter, like enemies came out, and it was very fast, and something like, and you just had like a total change in music style and art style. So basically, being like what you've seen of Manifold Garden right now, and then doing it, and then like you go into invert mode and it's this. And I do have ideas for like shooter mechanics, actually. For example, you have these turrets, you have these monsters, right? And they are like, they're in blue, and they fire, or no, like they only shoot blue bullets, but when you switch to gravity, those bullets freeze in midair, and then you can walk. And then you can like switch back into green or do stuff in invert mode, or maybe you like can't change gravity, but now you can jump. The problem is, I feel I'd basically be making an entirely different game, and it's just too. Like, I feel like you have people that want action games and people that want puzzle games, and then it's like if you get someone that only wants a puzzle, then I'd be sort of forcing them to play these, twitchy action sequences where they're going to keep losing and getting frustrated. And for someone that wants an action game, they're instead of just kind of playing desync, they're like, I'm forcing them to have to solve a bunch of puzzles. I mean, you could make it like the invert mode just to be totally different, where it's like, Yeah, and also the thing is, like, I haven't looked at shooter, right? So just getting weapons, getting game feel, enemies, AI. Well, so the world wraparound is what makes it really cool. Is that because like you can fire, and if you miss, it like will kill you, right? Because the bullet will come around, and then you can like shoot, like if there's a guy in front of you, you could probably aim up, and then still hit him, right? Because you'd see him again. Or you could like turn around and shoot behind you and then have it hit that guy. But kinetic satisfaction? I've actually never played Angry Birds. Maybe I should download it. Like, I mean, but I wonder if maybe I can just kind of like what Tiny Angry Guy was saying, right? That kinetic stuff, like just stuff like this, these like very rapid paced things, those I think is what gives it that like flash, that juice, which I don't have right now. So I don't actually. And then also someone on Twitter was like, isn't that technically just every third person action adventure game? And I was like, oh yeah, it is, because they have you like Uncharted, right? Or Assassin's Creed, you blow up stuff, and then you got to do some puzzle solving. Usually, sometimes the puzzle solving are optional, but yeah, I think it would be great if somehow we could make inverse mode much more kinematic without being totally. Yeah, I think to make the first-person shooter, that's too much, right? Because then I'm having a hard enough time as it is trying to finish one game, and that would basically be two games, and you don't want to end up making a game that's just like a bad puzzle game and a bad FPS shooter. So, I think the FPS shooter will not work, but I do think the invert mode having some kind of yeah, the journey flying though, they wanna. We did try going with oh, if you could make the shooting kind of like a puzzle. Interesting. It would allow for some very cool visuals. Bayonetta. I have not. That's I've actually not played a lot of action games. That's a Wii U game, right? Like, cause we did the you know, on the last stream we played with Inverting Gravity. Was this Metal? No, okay. I thought this was Metal Gear Solid. Wall jumping. Yeah, I like that. I like also another thing that Wissenach said, right? I think I'd prefer it if the inversion had something to go with the whole gardening aspect of it, which is why I got a bunch of gardening books, plentiful, and integrated forest gardening. Mostly I'm just sort of like reading through these to see if they have just for ideas about like oh, Metal. Okay, that was a Metal Gear game. That was a weird game. Yeah, it is. It definitely should be peace. I don't think inverse mode. I don't mind it being ominous and dark, like because you know it's like there are some flowers there's some plants that like bloom at night. There are flowers that bloom at night, and we also have like the photosynthesis. But I don't think I think enemy shooting is like that's like too extreme. But it would be kind of nice to do. It would be interesting to have like a light dark balance, like life, because sort of the arc of the game is you're bringing life into this world, but thematically it could be that inverse mode is death. Like puzzle shooting is super hot though. That's basically super hot. Yeah, wolf paint. I am not making it all by myself. I was by myself for about 2.5 years, but I do. David Lasky, I think he's still in the chat. He is working on the game as a programmer, doing a lot of optimization and console porting. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we can do a ton of stuff. I think inverse mode is so interesting just because you can totally change up the atmosphere. But I don't know. I don't know how we can do using dead bodies of enemies. That's like the what's his name, Dimitri Martin joke. You're a ambulance driver and you gotta save all the people that are killed in other games. People with like 7,000 headshots. So yeah. Yeah, like I also I have played Antichamber, indeed. Like one of the inversions we had was having you pick up the negative cube, and instead of taking it from a tree to a button, you take the negative cube, the inverse cube, and you take it back to the tree, which then shrinks the tree down into a seed, right? So there's like the inversion. There's that inversion, sort of the inversion of the puzzle solving process, but but Chris Bell didn't think it was that. Yeah, Chris didn't think that was all that exciting. Yeah. I guess Portal is technically a puzzle game with running and high-speed movement, right? Like, Portal is a very kinematic puzzle game. Definitely much more so than mine is. Chris just said it was, Chris, I've talked to Alex Bruce a lot, over the years. it's it actually it made sense to talk to Chris because in a lot of ways it was like Antichamber was a really big influence early on, just in terms of its puzzle pacing, right? Like that's the most impressive thing with Antichamber to me is the way the puzzle pacing is done. And I think it's able to do that because there's like no distractions with anything, and it was like I feel like I've got that now, but how do I take it somewhere else? So, and Chris certainly Journey to me is like kind of more on the opposite end of the spectrum, which is because it's really more about game feel. The Witness is much more about drawing lines. But it is brilliant, and I'm very excited. So it's like, how can we take some of that stuff from Journey and put into this game? And so. Hire Austin Wintory. He is not cheap. Austin Wintory. Perhaps, right? Having this, the inverse mode where you can change. The only thing with Ezio's suggestion of moving objects is I don't necessarily want you switching back and forth between invert mode and normal mode. Like I wanted the loop to be like normal mode and then invert mode. So while you are in normal mode, you are, hey, thanks for stopping by, Angie Plays Games thing. Yeah, I'll see you around. Is like what I want is when you are working on when you are in normal mode, you already have to be planning ahead for invert mode, right? I don't want you to be like, normal mode, going to invert mode, try this, doesn't work, come back to invert mode, do this, go back to invert mode, try that, come back. I want sort of this like duality in your head already. So, and I feel like, so that's the other challenge, right? Where you sort of want players to... Invert mode should very much be its own thing, but what you do in normal mode has to affect it. Yeah, but it should feel like going through the looking glass. It should be like a massive... Oh, so that, like, basically what Chris was saying is like he felt right now invert mode is just like carrying a box and I change the visuals. And it's not this, like, holy shit, a whole other game. Like, in Starseed Pilgrim, when you invert, it's basically a whole nother game. And I'm not really finding out... So he suggested the changing invert and gravity, which could work. I'm definitely going to keep playing around with that. I haven't actually worked on the game since that last stream. Just... mostly other life stuff. So, and that was Wednesday. So I've basically been away from the game for 4 days, which is kind of a very long time for me. So I'm a little bit rusty. Yeah, but so it is like sound and ornamentation changes and visuals, and Son of G-Day's Hello, but oh shit, do they do that? But Chris wanted like a mechanics inversion. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, the invert mode shouldn't be like right, like Assassin's Creed and Batman, the Arkham series do that. But then the problem is like when they have the like eagle vision, and it's like, why would you? It's like there's no reason to not play the game in eagle version all the time, except that it's just super ugly. I'll have to check that. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Inversion. Oh, there's an inverted castle. Obviously, spoilers. Yeah, it's like that's kind of the thing right now. It's like I don't want to. It shouldn't be totally different. So what's the solution? Because I don't want to add another year of development. So it's like, what is something that we can work with that will have the biggest impact, but is still interesting? Hey, Matt B. Flipping the normals of your level geometry. So, yeah, the thing with it, flipping the normals is it doesn't quite work because I have interior spaces as well, right? You know, like it would just be that, like you would just be on the inside instead of the outside. I mean, the thing is, the walls are not thick enough. The walls are not thick enough for me to flip the normals, because you can't you can't actually exist between these worlds. That might be interesting, though. What you have, the thing is, almost everything is like hollow. Yeah, it was a little weird, but it was good. It was necessary. I've actually never played Castlevania. I have played Cube. I do have ideas for the Fez-like corruption as one of the mechanics. Yeah, that could be. It could be spaces that you don't access earlier on. Although, here's the thing, though, with invert mode, what I do want is you going through the same spaces, but just looking at it differently. So, having new spaces as a result it sort of defeats that. So the Fez-like corruption, where I was thinking of, is you guys have played Fez, and you know there have these like squares where it's got the black static, and when you jump into it, I believe they just kill you, if I recall correctly. What I was thinking of was you'd have doors that you'd open, and they would just have the black static. And in normal mode, you cannot go through them, but in invert mode, you can go through them. Son of G, this is PlayStation Neighborhood. It's basically a program that lets you talk to the dev kit. So, like, it like sort of doesn't work that well. I can turn on the dev kit from here. Sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes I usually have to press the button to turn it on, but you can like turn it off. And then if I make a build and I want to send it to my dev kit, I just go through this program. So that's what that does. And you can take screenshots. Yeah, it's still not turned on. So that didn't work. Anyway, I am going to end the stream now. Anyway, but that was... Anyway, if you guys have ideas, let me know. Yeah, I don't know if I don't have any idea. Like Ezio, the example I always think of is Starseed Pilgrim, right? And that one is an easy one because I mean it's easier because it's 2D, and in normal mode you're planting seeds that you're planting the platforms. And then when you switch into invert mode, what used to be your space is now platform, and what used to be your platforms is now space. So, and your movement is slightly different, right? So that means like you don't want to build these platforms that are just like super tall on one side, because you know later you're gonna have to jump up that. So you kind of want to like build up these little staircases in normal mode. So that when you come back in invert mode, like that's going to be there for you. And so it's just a really interesting dynamic as you're playing, because as you're building a normal mode, you're also like keep thinking about, okay, how am I going to navigate the space when I switch? And I don't like, I want to have that kind of thinking. Like I don't know how it's going to take shape, but I'm saying like that's the kind of thinking that I would like the player to have. But anyway, yes, thank you, Praetorian. I'm gonna end the stream now because I do feel like coughing a bit. Hopefully, I think I have bronchitis, and I think that takes like 2 to 3 weeks, and it's been close to 2 weeks, so I think I'm almost better. I feel a little better. Oh shit, Malquad, don't worry. I'll stream tomorrow, and I think next week, once I'm feeling a lot better, we're gonna get back to more of a regular schedule in the afternoon. So yeah. And anyway, if you guys and if you're new and you enjoy the stream, you should definitely follow. And if you have other ideas, hit me up on Twitter. Tonight, I'm gonna write up the devlog post on invert mode. That'll have like everything and also what we talked about. And so anyway, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.